I wanted to expand on the existing videos about encouraging kids to be creative with some research and my own personal experiences as a parent. I'll reflect on how I grew creatively in my childhood and how I'm doing the same with my kids today. I'll also share some insights from the Creative Thinkers Toolkit course by Gerard Puccio. I'm Dr. E.T. and this is Ed on EdTech. Stay in the know about the latest research and tips for parents by subscribing to this channel and signing up for notifications. In the Creative Thinkers Toolkit by Gerard Puccio, he talks about creativity as a skill that can be learned through play, passion, practice, and purpose. He also talks about lateral thinking as a survival skill, like there's an evolutionary purpose for creativity. He also says that there are different types of creative styles that are what he calls adapters and innovators. So adapters are reliable, precise, detail-oriented, while innovators approach problems from novel angles. He talked about the importance of diverging first and then converging when it comes to combining ideas. And there was a lot of talk about deferring judgment. So Hemingway himself suggested to defer judgment, go for quantity, make connections, and seek novelty. Well, one approach was to use two opposing questions to generate more novelty. I like this idea when it comes to encouraging creativity in children, and I'll talk about how I do this in practice. First, a little bit about myself. As a kid, I didn't have a lot of toys around, so I had to use my imagination a lot. And one thing that I'd recommend for others is to have some periods of boredom, where you really don't have a choice but to be creative. A lab study of 36 toddlers looked at toy play, where there were 16 toys versus 4 toys to choose from. Both played the same percentage of toys. So 12 out of the 16 and 3 out of the 4 respectively. But the children with less toys tended to use them in different ways. This suggests that having fewer choices allows children to engage in deeper play than having many toys to play with. I was fortunate to have parents that asked a lot of opposing questions, like what are the benefits of doing it that way? What are the disadvantages? Who has the most to gain from the situation and who has the most to lose from the situation? These are types of opposing questions that are mentioned in the Creative Thinkers Toolkit as a strong method of generating more novelty. So also, when we ask questions instead of providing an answer, we also defer judgment, which is really important for deeper thinking and creativity. I think the biggest impact on my creativity was really from the affirmation from my teachers in school. I had a French language arts teacher that recognized that I was struggling in his class, but also that I was quite creative in my writing. So he provided lunch hour writing practice time, and he gave me an opportunity to showcase my writing to the entire class. His focus was on the positive character traits of creativity rather than my inability to do French language arts. And that really helped me to recognize that creativity was an area of strength for me. Kids often don't get a lot of encouragement about what they're good at, so as much as possible, focus on the positive aspects of their behavior. Trust me, as a parent, I know this can be extremely difficult sometimes, but I promise it's worth it. Finally, another approach that I developed during school was creating forced relationships using mind maps. Around my first year of university, I stopped taking linear notes and I forced myself to create these relational mind maps. The requirement to make relationships meant that I couldn't write everything down and I had to think about what the speaker was saying and how that related to previous things that they had said. And as a result, I had to think deeply about what was said before writing it down. And this helped me creatively because later I could go back to the notes, I could see the relationships that I had drawn, and I could think about new relationships that hadn't been discussed in class. Now, with my own kids, I focus a lot on interactive storytelling. When we're creating a story together, I'm often pausing and asking opposing questions, such as, why is this person bad and why is this other person good? We also like playing with toys like this Batman character because the character's already there. So really the responsibility is just to build the plot, conflict, and environment. This creativity scaffold makes it a lot easier for my kids to get into deep play. So the Rules of the Red Rubber Ball author, Kevin Carroll, talks about the connection between physical play and creativity. He says that when my body's in motion, my mind is free. And this speaks to the importance of movement for creative thinking. So with my kids, it's pretty easy to do this at the playground by playing a game where the parent is a monster or dragon, and the kids need to think about creative ways of escaping. We can also be creative in encouraging climbing a play structure, say using a chain ladder or the climbing wall, by saying, "Oh, the monster's sitting on the stairs now." So outside play is a great way of encouraging creativity, and one thing we really enjoy doing is spending time in nature. We do a lot of camping, and I feel that this process encourages creativity because there's so much around that's different from our typical surroundings that it forces us to be resourceful and more creative. Also, a lot of the toys that we have at home are not available when we're camping, so fewer toys means we get deeper play. Exposure to arts and music is something that I would also encourage when it comes to creativity. As a parent, there's this conflict between creativity and order in your home. For those afraid of the mess, outdoor activities like sidewalk chalk mean less cleanup. And if you can't go outside, I've been trying a number of sticker books where the characters are already there. They just need to create a story around the images that they're sticking on, so they don't actually have to draw. They just need to place the stickers in a scene that maybe we've drawn for them. But they still have to tell a story. So there's an opportunity to be creative, even though they don't necessarily have the ability to draw characters or backgrounds at this point. From a music perspective, there's also summer camps and classes that encourage the musical development of children. But I like the idea of something simple where you can just record what was played and listen to it. It's really encouraging to hear what you just played. With Snowflake Multi-Teach, it's fairly easy to encourage creativity on a touchscreen by adding in images with the built-in image safe search and recording videos of characters moving. Videos on the phone are also a great way to tell a story. You don't have to share it on social media. You can just show it again to the kids and they'll really enjoy watching what they created. Our local science center has a lot of video cameras which can be used for stop motion animations, but even a simple video camera for your phone should be able to do much of that, as well as you can use an app to put the stop motion animation together. So those are some of my tips for encouraging children to be creative that I found to be quite helpful with my own kids. What tips do you have for encouraging kids to be more creative? Please leave a comment below and I'll see you in the next one.